Now, in this lesson, we will be setting up a database for WordPress installation. Stay tuned. Now, let's set up our database for WordPress. So you want to go back to your cPanel. Then you go to MySQL database. You'll find that under databases. Remember, there's search for a domain name, preferences, files. After the files section, you find databases. So you click on MySQL database. Because of your free account, it says currently using 0 of 400 available database. So you're allowed to create up to 400 database. That's huge. So here you're going to enter a database name. Here's a prefix. This prefix here represents your server prefix. So what you want to do is pick a name. Now, here's a recommendation I normally give. Ensure that your database name, your username, your password are all encrypted in some way. So for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to use I'm going to just say I67 yes. Then I say create database. Now my database has been created. Now there's one thing to pay attention to. If you scroll down this page, you see the database that you just created. Then you take note of the text below that says, did you know premium hosting allows you to create individual MySQL users and privileges? All premium accounts have up to 1 gig of MySQL storage. To see a demo, click here. Now, what that is telling you is that currently, because you are on a free account, you are only allowed, or rather you're not allowed to have a unique user with privileges attached for your database. In an ideal scenario, let's say you were for the premium hosting account, or you had some premium hosting account, paid hosting account for somewhere else. The ideal thing to do after creating a database is to create a database user, a database password, then grant privileges to that user on the database that you have created. But that's not the case here, because you have been the same username and password that accesses your cPanel is the exact same username and password that you use in accessing the database that you've just created. But not to worry, I will be showing you in the next lesson, the next video, how that can be done in the proper scenario, how to create a user, give the user privileges on the database. So stick around. So now I'm going to quickly show you how to create a database user, assign a password to that user, then grant privileges to that user on an existing database. So this is my cPanel area on Bluehost. So I'm just going to scroll down to where you have, don't worry about the difference. I mean, functionalities are similar between cPanels. All you just need to do is scroll through and locate the database area. So you have database tools, and you have the same, just like you have on your free hosting account. You have MySQL databases, MySQL wizard, PHP admin. So we're just going to click on MySQL databases and proceed to just create a database from scratch, and then create a user, assign a password, then grant privileges to that user on the database. So I'm just going to say, let's just say I want B 2021. Then I say create database. You see the interface is similar. So added database. So we go back. Now that the database has been, let's look at our database first of all. If we click next, just to be sure that our database has been created, let's go to the very last. So list, still not there. Let's go back. Okay, here we have it. Database NetSpace I1Sabi 2021. That's the database we've created. Now the next thing we want to do is create a database user. So you can give it any name. Try to make it as encrypted as possible. I want ADM. So I choose a password. I use a password generator. Then I say create user. It's going to create the user. Then I go back again. Take note of the username that you've created. So what we want to do now is add here. We want to add the user to database. So we'll add, so here's the user we just created, I1ADM. Then we'll add it to I1Sabi 2021 and we click add. The instant we click add, it takes us to another page where we now get to select the different privileges that we can grant this user on the database we just created. So I'll just choose to say all privileges because we want our application to have the privilege to do all of these things on the database. So I'm just going to say make changes and voila, we're done. So just when you decide to migrate from free to a premium hosting or move to another server, take note that this is how you set up your database. You create a database, then you create a user, assign the password, then add the user you've created to the database by granting all privileges. So that's all for this lesson. See you in the next class.